Now, I'm going to say something that might seem a little bit controversial, but it's not. And it'll make sense once you understand this, and more importantly, once you experience this, okay? Learning for the sake of learning does more damage to your brain than anything else. Learning just for the sake of learning does more damage to your brain. Okay? You may think, oh, you know what, I'll go to read 1,000 books and you'll feel good about yourself. And you'll feel good about yourself for a little bit of a while, but then you're going to go back to where you are. Same position, same discussions, same stress, same anxiety, same depression, same gossips. And the reason is because learning for the sake of learning, and that's how the flawed education system taught us. Get all this data, get all this information. This is why social media is actually regressing the human population, because it's just giving them all this information, and you think, oh yeah, I've got all this information, which is, hey, it should be making me smarter, but it's not. It's actually making people more stressed. And the reason being, our brain is just like a computer. If you load the computer with too much information, too much data, what's going to happen? You're going to slow down the functionalities of your computer. Of course, you'll have to go and get more space and buy more space. But if you just keep uploading it with too much, all of a sudden the computer's going to get fused. So, hey, what am I doing here? What's my purpose? Okay, what do you want me to do? And this is why I emphasize there's a big difference between learning for the sake of learning for the sake, hey, I'm going to learn all this stuff and I'm going to memorize it and I'm going to look good at this party, or look good in front of my friends, or look good in front of someone that I can have a dialogue and I can express an opinion based on someone else's opinion because you've memorized some lines. No. Deliberate learning. And I'm specifying deliberate learning. In other words, the learning has to be deliberate. Okay? You need a target. You need to have a specific target. And what I always say, the goal is to get to ecstatic desire. From the target to ecstatic desire. And what's ecstatic desire? Because once you reach ecstatic desire is when you really, really want something. You can't stop thinking about it. And every time you do think about it, and every time you do act towards it, your body goes into joyfulness. Your body goes into ecstasy. You can't wait for it. When you are in an ecstatic mode, when you have an ecstatic desire, that's where the creative mechanism works at its best. That's where your brain is functioning at its best. Because your brain now is seeking deliberate data. It's seeking deliberate information, deliberate knowledge, and it becomes deliberate learning. And this is the deep learning education way. I call it the deep learning machine. And then your brain starts to become like that. Remember, it's the habit. You don't do these practices once and say, hey, I'm a deep learner. What we do is our habits. You do this every single day. All of a sudden, after 21 days and 61 days and 101 days, your brain is automatically going to become a deep learning, like a deep learning machine. And automatically it's going to be very deliberate. And it's going to get rid of data or information you don't need. And it may even get rid of some friends that you don't need. Because if all your friends and all your associates are just coming to you with gossip and negative stories and the same type of conversations over and over again, that's just irrelevant data. You don't need this. I'll tell you what happened to me. And remember, deep learning education is not something I created. And some people actually think that I've created deep learning education. No, deep learning education has been around for thousands of years. And deep learning education was introduced to me by my mentor about 6 years ago. It was taught to me. And I have gone to university. I have gone to Melbourne University. I have studied business. I have studied the human brain. I have spent the last 12 years in AI, artificial intelligence, understanding how the human brain learns, because we have to teach a machine how to learn. So I understand all that, and yet deep learning practices changed my life. And what happens is that once your brain gets into this mode, everything becomes very deliberate. And then you start to have people in your life. You start to attract people in your life that are deep learners. You start to attract people in your life that have ecstatic desires and targets. And then you're having those conversations. And all of a sudden they're pushing you and you're pushing them. The discussions are all about learning deeply, but it's also, you get into those discussions where they're encouraging you and you're encouraging them. They're helping you and you're helping them. And all of a sudden you're in that deep learning machine mode. And all of a sudden you realise, oh, you know what? These conversations that I'm having with these people that come to your house, or they come in your life, and they're always gossiping about somebody else, or they're always criticising somebody else, or they're always negative about something. You start to realise, my brain is starting to become immune to that. You think, oh gee, now you're starting to recognise that. And you know what? It's okay to walk away from people. It's okay to be very deliberate. Because you know what? Your goal is to protect yourself. Your goal is to bring out the best version of yourself. And teaching people first to be deliberate. And then from being deliberate, they need a target. And then from that target, helping them get to their ecstatic desire. Because once you get to your ecstatic desire, game over. Game over. You're a deep learner for life. You will notice your entire life change. Everything around you will change. Because once your brain changes, once your model changes in your brain, everything changes in your life. And the people change. Just the conversation will change. Because it's very deliberate. You won't give a fuck about all these gossipers. Because it's all about your target. It's all about what you're chasing. And this, just learning for the sake of learning, just scrolling on social media and getting all this information, all this will do, regress your brain. Go out and get 1,000 books and read 2,000 books and feel good about yourself that I'm reading, look, I'm smart. No. Sorry. You're regressing your brain. You're hurting your brain. Think about it. You've read all these books, thousands of books, and you've got depression and anxiety and stress, and you're not moving forward in life. Think about that. Why? And you're having the same gossipy conversations. Because learning for the sake of learning is better off not learning. You're better off just sitting and watching a tree. You're better off just sitting and watching a wall. You're better off for your brain sitting and watching a wall than just learning with no target and no ecstatic desire. And that's my job, to get you to that target, and then to get you from that target to that ecstatic desire. Because once you get to their ecstatic desire, it's game over.